Well, hello and welcome back. Today's project is going to be some shelves above the range there. We were going to do cabinets, and then we decided we're going to do shelves. So we're going to have a one continuous shelf from there to there, and then from, let me get my finger on the camera here, from there to there, and then there to there. So there'll be two smaller shelves and one larger shelf. And let's dig into it and show you the supplies and how we're going to do it. On the counter over here, we have these. These are just brackets you can buy from Home Depot or Lowe's, I'm sure. Any big box store. These ones are, I think they're 10 inches or 10.5 inches, something like that. So we're going to stick these on the wall like so. And then we'll stick the board across the top of them. All we did for the top board was a 2x10, I believe. So two 2x10s. We'll cut the one into two pieces to make the two lower shelves, and then one for the top shelf. And we'll see how it turns out. We may do some staining and sanding, I should say, and it'll look nice. So in order to get those on the wall, the strongest way would be make sure you hit a stud. That way it bolts in nice and tight. But I'm not as worried about the strength of it as I'm worried about the looks of it, because we're going to use anchors. So there's 4 holes on these. We're going to use these anchors, drill them into the wall. So each one will have 4 anchors, and each one can support 29 pounds. So that's a lot of weight per one of those. And we're going to be using, on the smaller shelf here, we're going to set, on this line here, we're going to set one there, and on the top shelf, one there, one there, there, and there, and then 2 on the lower shelf again. And so those are going to be pretty simple. If it's not strong enough, then we'll come back and figure out what we're going to do. We could always take and put a board across there and then screw those to the board and then screw the board to the studs, but I don't think that would be an issue. So the way I found out these numbers here is I put one up against a wall like this, and I'm like, is that far enough away from the countertop? I was like, that's too close. So like, yeah, that's too high, because the second shelf would be hard to reach. I mean, it'd be easy for reach for me, but not everyone's my height and has my wingspan. So we decided, I think it was 20 inches from there to there. And then we did 14 inches from there to there. And the way I found out that number is just a foot didn't seem like enough. And then when I measured these shelves down here, I mean, someone's put some thought into where those shelves are going to go in these pre-made cabinets. And so if they put theirs at 14 or 14.5 inches, then it makes sense to put mine at the same distance. I'm guessing most pitchers of like for water and drinks and such are going to be about 12 inches. So you want that space for clearance. So we'll see how it goes. If we put it up there and don't like it, we can change it. It's just drywall. We can patch it, all that stuff. So with no further ado, let's set the camera up and mark the holes for those, drill the holes, put in all of those fasteners, come back, screw those on, which I'm going to use probably drywall screws if they fit properly, because they'll be black and they should fit in that bevel nicely. So if not, we'll use these and paint them black. But let's hang those up there, and then we'll cut those boards, sand them, all that stuff. But anyways, let's get to it. Close-up of what we've done. So here's the 4 holes. I've always put the engraving on the same direction just in case there's a difference. And I'm also matching these up to the markings I have just in case the castings are different, but they should be all the same. But I put it on that line there. This line is 3/4 of an inch higher than the center line, and that's the distance between the holes in the center of that circle there. And so that way I can get them nice and straight across, because if I were to just eyeball it on this line and this line, I was afraid that when I go to put the board on there, especially the long one, each of them are going to be a different height and it won't look good. They could still be that way. We might adjust them, but try to do our best we can. We've measured up, made this line, and then centered those holes right on that line there. That way it's perfectly straight this way and up and down as well. So now that I've got all those holes marked with this pencil around those, I'm going to come back and take our drill bit out of there. Now, this is a masonry drill bit, but it's made for drywall, concrete, tile, whatever. And we're going to use that to drill the holes, and then we'll set these in each of those holes. anchors are installed everywhere, except for, you'll see a couple missing here, like those two, and then those four. That's because those ones did perfectly on a stud, which is quite handy. So we'll send the screw straight into the stud, but the other ones we'll line up with those, put the screws in. It'll be easy. So these are 1.25" drywall screws, very basic, very cheap screws. Just a Phillips head on it, but they fit nicely in that little pocket I was telling you about. Let's see if I can get one in here. So see how it fits nice and flush. Now it's black instead of the oil or bronze, but I don't think you're gonna notice, and if you do, we can always come back and paint those, but I'm not gonna worry about it since it's my project. So anyways, let's put those on one by one here, and then we'll cut the boards down next, but let's put one on together and see how it goes. Okay, now that those are up, we can take our board and stick it up there. Of course, this hasn't been finished yet, but it's pretty much close to what it's going to be anyways. Slide it up there, slide it over. That doesn't look too bad. Let me show you what I see real quick. So first impressions, I like it. It kind of gives me like a, I don't know, like a vineyard rustic theme. Of course, it's not finished yet, so it might not look like that to you, but the board is also a little bit bowed, has a little bit of a rise to it. So I think I'm gonna keep it that way because you can see this middle one's not touching yet. Also, it needs to be pushed back a little, but this is the only one not touching, and because of the bow, this one is touching, this one is pretty much touching. This one's a little crooked, I'm not happy with that, so we'll see if we can tighten that up a bit. It's a little loose, so we'll tighten that up. That looks pretty good. So all we're gonna do with those boards is probably sand them to where they're smooth and do like a satin clear coat. So that'll be nice. I like it. Let's go ahead and cut these boards, put it up there and see what you think. This one. I like it. Oh, what do you think? Obviously, most kitchens have cabinets on each side, like those are kind of, and then a microwave here in the middle with a cabinet above it. And that's what this kitchen is designed for, so one day we might come back and do that. But for now, this is what it looks like. And I think it will function great. Now, I think I would stick all of my like nice dishes up there, my nice white glass plates and my clear glasses, and maybe even hang some stuff from them. Like you could hang pots and pans from there if you wanted to, or, I mean, options are endless. Anyways, what do you think? It's pretty good. We'll see how strong it is. Of course, it's not gonna support, if a child gets up there and tries to climb on the shelves, it might pull off the shelves then, but it's not designed for that, so if that happens, then we've got problems, so. Anyways, I love this board over here. Check it out. It's got like a little bit of blue going on in it. Pretty sweet. So now we gotta take off these stickers because those look ugly. Hope they're not stuck on there because that would be a nasty pain if they are. Hopefully they're stuck to each other, which I think they are. Nope. Oh, that's awful. Why would you do that, manufacturer? Why? That's irritating, isn't it? So now I gotta take each one of these, clean that off. That's terrible. Anyways, looks pretty good. So next step, we're gonna sand these and then we'll do the stain or clear coat. Okay, it's a new day, and I came back and did a second coat. Well, I guess a first coat on the one side is what I did in the last time lapse you saw. And then I flipped it over and did another coat. So technically the second coat is on the perimeter where I've done it twice, but we're gonna do one more coat on these. You don't have to watch that. And then these up here is our next issue. So we've got all those anchored up. I've untwisted them since they thread in basically. So this one's finished, but they come with stickers, nasty stickers like these. And then when you tear them off the best you can, it still ends up looking like this. And it's aggravating. So the best way I found to take these off, since you'll probably run into this issue as well, is I run them under hot water and let it warm up the glue a little bit. And then once you get it warmed up, you can start scratching it off with your fingernail, which water's cold right now because the washing machine's running, but you get the idea. Get this nice and hot and then start stripping it off with your fingernail. Works out pretty easy and only takes a few minutes, and then in the end it'll look like this. And then you can take some cotton balls or a rag and some nail polish remover, and it'll take off the rest of this stuff, which is pretty nice. So obviously it's the next day because I don't have a beard anymore. Cut it off. It was getting old. I was looking old, so big change in a small video. Anyways, take your cotton swabs like you're gonna do your fingernails, get it nice and wet, and then you can take and wipe off the glue, which is cool. This takes a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of finger grease. That one needs a little bit more moisture for sure. And it'll come right off and it'll look nice. So anyways, that's how you do that. Next step is to put the shelves back up and to hang the shelves. And I'll show you a little final footage of that. So anyways, catch you in a second. Well guys, that wraps up another project together. We've got the shelves all installed there. Pretty cool. There's a few things I was gonna go over real quick that I might not have mentioned in the video, so let me turn the camera around and show you, and we'll get out of here. One of the things I changed on the shelves that I didn't show in the video was that the screws that I used, the 1¼ inch screws, were too short. They didn't have enough room to bite the anchors, and so they weren't gripping properly in the wall. So I exchanged those for 1 5/8 inch screws, and they did better, but they aren't the best, but we're gonna run with them now and see how they do. I think they're just not quite thick enough to bite the anchors I had. They are pretty sturdy, but we'll see once we start putting weight on it and using them. But overall, looks pretty nice. We got the clear coat put on there, and it's looking nice. So we used, talking about the clear coat, we used this, a water-based polyurethane floor, professional grade superior protection, crystal clear satin, exceptional durability for all types of wood flooring is what it says. But this is something I had left over from another project I did, and so it was easy to use again, and it's easy to clean your brushes because it's a water base. And so we'll probably end up doing another coat in a bit, but overall it looks nice and it's going to be great for this area. As you can see, it's kind of a bit shorter, the ceiling, especially right here, because this is where the ductwork goes through the house. And so with it being shorter, we want to make it feel bigger. So doing that, these shelves make it feel bigger for sure. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching the shelf project video. And as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to answer those as soon as possible. Or if you have any other videos you'd like to see done or any questions, like I said, leave it down there. We'll catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.